Aloha and welcome to this module on testing. Super excited about this module because we are getting into the thick of software engineering at this point in the semester. As you go through this module, we're going to bring together coding standards, we're going to bring together quality assurance, we're going to really get you to the point where the three prime directives are pretty much achievable at this point in the semester. And I think that's just a fantastic place for you to get to. Now, I'm not going to lie. There's some complicated things you're going to have to, assimilate in this module. So I suggest you get started really quickly on this and really allocate a lot of hours this week to be going over the experiences and repeating things until you really start to understand not only the mechanics, but kind of why you're doing what you're doing. And I think as you go through the exercises, that's going to become clear. So what what I'd like you to come out of this is an understanding of some of the top level concepts of testing, white box testing, black box testing, coverage. That's too much. The conceptual stuff is too much to cover in a single week. So there's more of a more simplistic kind of unit testing level orientation to this module. But never fear, as we go further on in the semester, we're going to keep revisiting testing in a lot of different ways. And by the end of the semester, you'll feel comfortable with all these concepts. And they're covered in this screencast. It's about 30 minutes long. I recorded it a number of years ago, and I've never really felt like I could do a better job of it than I did that time. So I keep having you guys watch that, except for like the last minute where I kind of refer to what needed to be done in that module a few years ago. Just you can skip the last minute, but the first 31 minutes are I think are pretty good. At least for me, they're pretty good. Then there is a tutorial on Jasmine, which is the testing framework we're going to be using, and as I looked around the stuff, I came across this one. It's a Udacity, kind of MOOC course thing. It involves basically 2 videos. Each of them are like 20 minutes long. And I went through it and I thought, man, I cannot do any better than these guys. So I'm just going to kind of have you go through that. And I think at the end of that, you'll have a really solid introductory feel for how to do Jasmine testing. And then I'm directing you here to the reference guide for Jasmine. And and if you wanted to kind of, I don't know, suffer a little more, you could just skip this tutorial and just go straight to the introduction. I mean, it's all in the introduction. But I recommend that you spend 45 minutes watching someone else develop a couple of tests from scratch using Jasmine, and then you can look at this and it'll all make a lot of sense to you. So I think this is the most efficient way to get through kind of the introductory exposure to this testing technology that we're going to be using. Then I've got 3 experiences where we're going to basically go back through code that we wrote previously in the semester, and we're going to add some tests to it using Jasmine. And I think by the end of that, if you spend the time to work on each of these until you feel real comfortable with how to do it, and do it in AV time, if not RX time, you're going to be well set up for the WAD and moving forward in the semester. Testing is not going to feel that complicated for you. The other thing that's going to happen in these experiences is that we'll be going back over our coding standards from the prior WAD, because we need to kind of start doing the coding standards, right? Those are the standards for the class. So there's going to be a lot of upgrading of these previous programs or functions to adopt the coding standards that we use now. And I think that you'll find that's helpful for assimilating the coding standards, getting used to them. And so I think by the end of this module, you'll be better at IntelliJ, you'll be better at JavaScript, you'll understand Jasmine and how to write tests using Jasmine. That's a great thing. And you'll be better with our coding standards. That means using .gitignore, JSHintRC, the JS doc, and finally GitHub pages. All of those things are going to come together in this module, which is why I really recommend you allocate some extra time this week to work on this module because we're bringing together so many different constructs. But I tell you, the time you spend will be totally worth it. Aloha.